Hey guys, my name is Kristen Ailes and I'm going to be doing my persuasive speech on how I believe cheerleading should be considered a sport. The definition of a sport is an activity involving physical exertion and skill in which an individual or team competes against another for entertainment. Cheerleading should be considered a sport because it meets every requirement of the dictionary definition. I've been a competitive cheerleader for 10 plus years. I've competed in cheerleading at the college level, high school level, and all-star level. Participating in cheerleading at the college level here at Kennesaw State solidifies the fact that cheerleading is definitely a sport because being involved firsthand, I was able to see the amount of work and time it took to be successful. In my speech, I plan to address how cheerleading is a sport. I'll provide you with firsthand evidence about the amount of work, practice, and time that goes into cheerleading at the college level compared to other sports. First, cheerleading is an activity involving physical exertion. When I cheered here in college, I practiced about 3 times a week for 4 hours, give or take, sometimes more, depending on what our goals for that practice were. Then we would have 1 day off, and then our remaining 3 days would be workouts where we would lift weights, run, condition, just activities to keep us in shape because it is a sport that involves, strength and, you have to be strong to lift people in the air, so it definitely requires all of those type of things. There really is no downtime to cheerleading. You do practice about every week out of the year, which makes it really tough. You burn out really fast. I remember there's been times where I've been so tired of it. Unlike other sports, you get a season and then you have off, or you have a few months off here and there, depending on the sport. But ultimately, cheerleading, it's nonstop all the time. And you also miss out on a lot of extra curricular activities. I remember I made it to one of the biggest competitions in high school, and I actually missed my junior prom, which at the time I was kind of bummed about it, but looking back at it, it was one of the biggest competitions of the year, so I couldn't miss it, and I don't regret it at all. But it goes to show that you do miss so many things because of this sport. Next, it is definitely an activity which involves skill. There's 3 positions in cheerleading. There's base, flyer, and backspot. And you do not become good at these positions overnight. They're not easy. You can be strong and lift someone in the air, but you could have the wrong technique. So it's just like any position in any other sport. It takes a lot of practice and years of work and commitment to better yourself in that sport. And then also cheerleading requires tumbling. Tumbling is also not something you learn overnight. It is something that takes a lot of skill. It's very mental, very difficult. It takes a lot of strength and stuff. So either one of these skills are not easy, and they take a lot of practice and time and commitment in order to become good at them, just like any other sport. Lastly, it is an individual or team competes against others for entertainment. So there are cheerleading competitions at every single level of cheerleading. High school cheerleading competes from September to December. During usually football season, so you're doing football games and you're doing competitions at the same time on weekends. It is very grueling. It's split into regions just like any other sport in high school, and they take the 2 best teams out of each region and they go to the state competition, which is held in Columbus, Georgia, every year in December. I got the chance to go every single year of high school. It was a great experience. It's super fun. It's just like the playoffs pretty much, but it's like every team from the state, the top 2 teams come and they compete against each other to win your state title in your classification. The next type of cheerleading competitions are the all-star competitions, which is, your competitive, kind of like your out-of-school type competitions with your all-star team. I was able to also compete in those in high school. That's why I missed my prom, was because of an all-star competition. The competition that is the biggest for All-Stars is Cheerleading Worlds. It's held in April. It actually was this past weekend. And it's where 40 countries come together and you have to qualify, and you win Worlds that year, which is super cool. And the last type of competition is College Nationals, which involves all of your college competition cheerleading teams, and they all come together and they compete in Daytona Beach right on the boardwalk. It's outside. It was actually 3 weekends ago, which is super fun. I was able to compete at that as well when I cheered in college. It's a great opportunity. Kennesaw State actually just won the national championship for cheerleading this year. So first year, which is awesome. So it's super cool. It's very fun. We have all the same competitions, like big competitions. You get rings for it in college. It's the same thing as if you win something big in football or win something big in basketball. It's the same thing. So I think a lot of people just don't understand cheerleading. I think they need to educate themselves about it. I think a lot of people believe that cheerleading is just you stand on the sidelines and say rah rah all the time. It's not. It's not what you see. There's a lot more that goes into it. And I think a lot of people just don't educate themselves enough or, like care to. So I think if you educate yourself, cheerleading's on TV. You can turn a competition on and watch, and you'll really see that what these people do is actually hard, and you just can't go out and do it yourself. So in my speech, we have discussed the definition of a sport and what aspects of cheerleading meet those requirements. I think in order to see these steps firsthand, you need to involve yourself in cheerleading. You need to get to know the sport better. You need to research it. Maybe go watch a few competitions. You can get on the internet and go just type in cheerleading competitions, and they'll come up. Or go to YouTube and just see college level competitions and what they are like, and what the girls do is absolutely crazy. You will definitely be able to tell that those girls work really hard for what they can do in the sport, and all the sweat and tears that they put into it. It's hard. Those girls come off the floor from their routine and they're sweating, and they're out of breath, just like if you ran a marathon or ran a sprint. It's hard. So in conclusion, cheerleading is a sport based upon the amount of physical exertion, the skills needed to be successful in the competitions where they compete against multiple teams.